Charles Lindbergh Jr. is kidnapped from the family home in Hopewell, New Jersey. The Revenue Act of 1932 is enacted, creating the first ever U.S. tax on gasoline, which was 1 cent per gallon, and the United States Postal Service issued a set of 12 stamps commemorating the 200th anniversary of the birth of George Washington. The year is 1932. And this was the new model to come out of the Soto. But before getting into all of it, I'm Jay. Welcome to What It's Like, the automotive channel that digs different cars. We especially love the orphan cars, or car brands that don't exist anymore. History, specs, design, post between 4 and 5 episodes each week, with engine episodes generally on Wednesdays. If any or all or none of that applies to you, subscribe and hit the bell icon next to it to never miss a video. Spring is here. It's blossoming into summer almost. If you're in the Western Pennsylvania, Ohio, Southern Western New York State, Southern Michigan State, West Virginia, especially Western Pennsylvania and surrounding areas, and you have a cool car in your personal collection that you would like to see in mini documentary format featured on this channel, drop me a line at what_it's_like at a lost and mostly forgotten webprovider.com if interested. 1932 DeSoto model lineup. But before getting into all of that, DeSoto was founded by the man himself, Walter P. Chrysler, August 4th, 1928, to compete with Hudson, Pontiac, Studebaker, Willis, and other brands. DeSoto's first model year was 1929. DeSoto was named after Spanish conquistador Hernando de Soto. DeSoto would build cars from 1929 through 1961. It's also worth mentioning there was another DeSoto company that dates back to 1912 in Auburn, Indiana. It was a subsidiary of Zimmerman Manufacturing, which goes back even farther in 1886 and was in the buggy building business. Zimmerman would get into the automotive business in 1908, but this is some really important side information. It doesn't have anything to pertain to the DeSoto company that we're talking about today, but these are the two companies that Auburn bought, Zimmerman and the original DeSoto company. It's just filling in some blanks. Anyway, 1932 DeSoto model lineup was broken down into 4 model lines on 3 wheelbase configurations. You had the 6 SA series, which rode a wheelbase of 109 and 3/4 inches. It was powered by a 205.3 cubic inch displacement in line 6. Next up, the 8 CF, which was the last year for the DeSoto inline 8, rides a longer 114-inch wheelbase powered by a 207.7 cubic inch displacement 8-cylinder. And then coming in towards the end of the year was the SC Standard 6 and the SC Custom 6, both riding the same 112-inch and 3/8 chassis. In 1932, DeSoto was positioned between Chrysler and Plymouth. And being a Chrysler product, hydraulic brakes were standard, which is a huge feature within itself. The engine was mounted to rubber engine mounts, which Chrysler called floating power. The engine mounts, because they were made of rubber, any vibration caused by the engine itself wasn't felt through the chassis. Let's talk specs. It rides a wheelbase of 112 and 3/8 inches. It weighs around 2,700 pounds. Price, $835, which is equivalent to you spending $19,142.16 in the year 2024. Total 1932 DeSoto production was 24,496 units. Moving on to engines, which there is tons of conflicting information about the engines. Some sources will say that the 218 is in this car, but from what I found, it's actually the 212. 212 cubic inch displacement flathead inline 6, 3.4 liters. It's good for 75 horsepower, 2,500 RPM. Estimated 160 pound-feet or 216 newton meters, around 1,600 RPM, with a bore of 3.25 inches and a stroke of 4.375 inches. It is back to a 3-speed manual transmission. Let's talk styling. Just look at these headlight bezels. Absolutely massive. And 7.5 inches long for reference. This car has dual horns, dual lights. Bumpers are elegantly designed. So just notice how the bumper connects to the car. Absolutely gorgeous mascot. Just look at that grille. Can you think of any other car that this grille looks like? The grille looks very similar to that of a Miller race car from around 1926, which this car is. Look at these fenders. There's a nice bead that runs the perimeter of the fender. Beautiful DeSoto in the center of the spoke wheel design. Just look at all of the different. So the color is a dark maroon with black fenders and black accents with almost like a canary yellow pinstriping. This car does have a center line, more or less like the hinge for the butterfly hood. Dual cowls, one for driver, one for passenger. Split windshield with windshield wiper at the top. The side mirrors are mounted to the top of the door. This car does have drip rails which start here and run the length of the cabin. Also notice it has this chicken wire top, and the reason for it was because they didn't figure out how to make a solid steel top yet. The running board situation is pretty wide up here. This is what size 12 shoe looks like on the running board in the front. In the back it tapers quite drastically. Same 12-inch shoe, same running board. The rear fenders also have a bead that caps the perimeter, and then it kicks out at the back. Notice this car does not have a trunk, but you could put one back here instead of the spare tire if you wish. The bumpers in the rear are cut so you can get the spare tire off. Just notice how they are connected to the car. This car has dual brake lights. Gas filler is on the driver's side, and this is the gas tank. Also notice how far the leaf springs come out. They come out pretty much to the end. Taking a look at this door panel, it's got a nice cloth feel to it. Notice there isn't an armrest. Windows do go down. This crank here. Door handle to get out. The door opens 90 degrees, if not a little bit more than 90 degrees, to allow plenty of access into the cabin. Coming down inside the pedal box down here, clutch, brake, gas pedal, starter pedal. Just take a look at this interior. Here is what over the hood looks like. Here is what first person over the hood would look like. On to the button switches and knobs, starting on the left and moving right. Key, clock, which is mounted to the steering wheel column, hand throttle, oil pressure, coolant temperature, speedometer, where the needle stays stationary and the numbers spin, odometer, freewheeling, gasoline gauge, amp meter, and choke. Up above, there aren't any sun visors, but this is the windshield wiper control right there. There is a rear view mirror there. Just look at this dashboard. It's a metal but wood painted, mimicked to look like real wood. This one has a fan underneath, as well as heater control over there. Map pocket on the passenger side door. I stand corrected, there is a sun visor. It's further back, operates like this. It's a massive sun visor. Here's my hand for reference. Over here, release this side and release that side, and then it will crank out. The rear door opens 90 degrees, also to allow plenty of access into the rear space. Notice you have a map pocket here, as well as door handle to get out, window crank for the big window. There are armrests on the chairs. Well, it's not really the chair itself, but on the back panel itself, as well as ashtray, and these windows also go down with the T handle there. Handle to hold on to. Robe rail for a heavy blanket. This is what the front looks like from the back. Let's take a quick gander at the greenhouse, or the pillar to glass ratio. It's really nice in this car. This is what visibility out the rear from the back seat would look like. There is a nice privacy shade in the very back. Everything found on the driver's side is also found on the passenger side. Ashtray, T-handle to put the window down, armrest, handle to hold on to, dome light in center. Coming to the under the hood section. I love how everything is just accessible. Steering column. Notice all of the wires at the bottom of the steering wheel column. Brake master cylinder is right there. Starter, oil filter is in this canister. Distributor. Notice all of the wires inside here to keep everything nice and tidy. Generator. Notice it has a single updraft carburetor, gasoline filter. Beautiful flathead 6 underneath. It has a one belt system that operates a generator and the fan / water pump combo. On the positive side, this is a really cool car that rarely gets seen in any body style. All doors are rear hinged. The windshield can open, hydraulic brakes, which is a huge plus for cars from this era. Good performance for the period and caliber of car this is. These are relatively rare, but they are inexpensive and very affordable against it. I can't think of much. This model doesn't have a trunk, but one could be fitted. Body parts and trim parts are probably really hard to find. All right, now it's time for Would You Rather. 2 scenarios today. In the first scenario, would you rather have a 1932 Hudson or 1932 DeSoto or 1932 Studebaker? I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. On to the second scenario. 1932 Nash or 1932 DeSoto or 1932 Willis. Once again, gonna leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. Now it's time for Name That Tune. First person to get both the name of the band and the song title correctly in the comment section will have their comment pinned to the top of it. Thank you all so much for coming out and watching this. If you'd like to get in touch with me, shoot me a comment in the comment section below, or you can always send me an email at what_its_like@yahoo.com. Until next time, toodaloo!